Happy 2023 and welcome to the Seth Joyner Show presented by Bankroll. I must start here. Moments like Monday night puts life in perspective and reminds us just how fragile life is. Damar Hamlin, safety for the Buffalo Bills at the time of this taping, is still in critical condition in Cincinnati after collapsing on the field after a tackle. And I pray that God will fully restore him to his family and his loved ones. The holiday season has not been too hospitable to the Philadelphia Eagles with back-to-back losses on Christmas Eve and then again on New Year's Day. The Birds find themselves in the unenviable spot of a must-win game on Sunday afternoon versus NFC East rival, the New York Giants, for the division title and the number one seed of the National Football Conference. The Jalen Hurts-less Philadelphia Eagles proved that he is much more than a system quarterback. As a matter of fact, he is the system. Gardner Minshew had probably his worst day as a quarterback in the National Football League. And the coaching staff did little, with the exception of the first drive of the second half, to help him from a play calling perspective. It's time for my Bankroll breakdown. For the first time, in my opinion, all season, Nick Sirianni and staff just flat out got out-coached. Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen crafted a game plan that was bound to fail from the outset and refused to adjust until the first drive of the second half. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the Philadelphia Eagles as well as the NFL, and Gardner Minshew's performance solidified that fact. Hurts is the system because he is one of probably three quarterbacks in the NFL that can operate this offense as efficiently as he does. His ability to make decisions on the fly, in the read option, and the RPO game, giving or keeping the football, and his ability to pass makes him a threat in every facet of quarterbacking. Why would Sirianni and Steichen implement a game plan and ask Minshew to operate Hurts' offense? Minshew is a quarterback who needs a running game in order to be an efficient passer. He needs play-action passing. Everyone will say, well, they didn't have a chance to get the running game established. With only 17 plays and 2 first downs in the entire first half, therein lies the issue. The New Orleans Saints came into this game on Sunday ranked 23rd versus the run and 2nd versus the pass. So conventional wisdom says attack them via the run to set up the passing game for your backup quarterback. But as has been the case often this year, that plan was exactly the opposite. Minshew threw the ball 13 times and was sacked twice on back-to-back plays in the first series. The game plan should have began to evolve at that point. But while Miles Sanders, your 1,000-yard rusher, only saw 2 run plays the entire first half, Minshew continued to struggle to not only complete passes, but to move the chains. He was 6 for 10 for 69 yards and was sacked 5 times in the first half alone. The Birds had 5 possessions in the first half. It went 4 3-and-outs, and the half ended on their 5th possession. They came out in the first series of the second half and began to establish the run game, and Minshew looked to somewhat settle in, with Sanders providing 2 runs, Boston Scott 2 runs, and Kenneth Gainwell rips off a 28-yarder that's called back on a bogus holding penalty on Landon Dickerson, which the Birds couldn't recover from and had to settle for a 56-yard field goal by Jake Elliott. It looked as though Steichen had made the adjustment to run the football in the second half. On the second possession, Sanders got the ball 4 straight times, ripping off runs of 9, 4, 6, and 2 before this drive was stalled by 3 false starts. The next series, Minshew connected on a deep ball to A.J. Brown for 78 yards, and the Eagles would draw no closer to the Saints until a Minshew ill-advised slant route to A.J. Brown resulted in a Marshawn Lattimore pick 6. That sealed the loss. As bad as Gardner Minshew played, Sirianni and Steichen did Minshew no favors, putting him in a position to fail, in my opinion. The strength of this offense is the O-line and Jalen Hurts when he's healthy. And when Hurts is out, the plan should have been to lean on that offensive line, Sanders, Scott, and Gainwell, and allow Minshew to manage the game, passing the ball off the run. The defense, on the other hand, beyond the first drive, I thought they played a solid game. Jonathan Gannon seemed unprepared for that first drive. 15 plays, 75 yards, 9 runs, 6 passes, and Taysom Hill, the key to the drive, which ended in a 1-yard TD run. 13 points yielded by your defense will normally be enough to win you 90% of your games in the National Football League. Third down efficiency continues to be a problem for the defense. The Saints were 6 for 10 on third down conversions in the first half. They were 3 for 3 and converted a fourth down conversion on the first drive alone. From that point, the defense only gave up 3 points in the second half. They completely dominated. They only yielded 40 yards passing and 50 yards on the ground in the second half of the football game. The pass rush is on a record-setting pace. Brandon Graham had 2 sacks, giving him 11 in double digits for the first time in his career. Congrats, BG. Hassan Reddick had 2 to push his total for the season to 16. Cox, Hargrave, and Williams chipped in with 1. Jonathan Gannon, I can see, is trying to transform his mindset when it comes to how he calls defenses. But in order to allow this defense to continue to dominate, he will have to get more aggressive on first and second downs and ask his DBs to get up in press coverage or move around early in the clock to take away pre-snap adjustments and the quick passing game that nullifies our pass rush. Off coverage will only invite veteran quarterbacks to just take the low-hanging fruit. The slants, the hitches, the bubble screens. And lastly, the Birds defense was not very good on second down versus the Saints. On a number of occasions, first down produced 1, 2, or 3 yards, only to see the Saints gain 5, 6, or 7 on second down, setting up a third and manageable situation for a new set of downs. Credit to Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, and Jonathan Gannon and staff for getting this team to this point. But the play calling, turnovers, penalties, mistakes, and lapses in knowing when to adjust and redirect the game plan will just have to get resolved, and it better get resolved fast. The playoffs are unforgiving to teams that commit these infractions. That's my bankroll breakdown. Coming up, Jordan Rana, Giants reporter, joins me to preview the all-important NFC East matchup, the Giants versus the Eagles. Bankroll at 19th and Chestnut, Center City, Philadelphia, redefines the sports bar experience for the modern invested fan.
Bridgeview Partners strategic IT consulting and services, saving clients money and time by optimizing enterprise systems for over 10 years now. If you're an IT professional, what are you waiting for? Contact a very experienced team at Bridgeview Partners. These guys have an awesome reputation in the Philadelphia market for their thought leadership, specializing in infrastructure optimization and IT service management for healthcare, retail, finance organizations, and many others. Go to bridgeviewpartners.com to learn more, and go Eagles!
This car is a steal. Hey, Seth, let's do a deal and I'll throw in this great gift. Hoi!
Is that the way you used to buy a car? Forget about it. Get to Davis Honda in Burlington.
Davis Honda has over 300 pre-owned vehicles right now. Come see why Davis Honda won Best of Burlington 6 years in a row.
I'm Seth Joyner, and I drive a Davis Honda.
Seth, Caitlin, you forgot your great gift.
Birds fans, if you understand that success is built on trusted relationships and reliable performance, Mid-Penn Bank is the right bank for you. We're on a mission to prove that the right bankers can make a big difference and work harder for you. With financial centers strategically located to serve the greater Philadelphia area, we are ready to bring you the best in commercial and personal banking. Visit midpennbank.com or call the number on your screen. Mid-Penn Bank, the right bank for you. Member FDIC. Go Eagles!
Former Eagles linebacker Seth Joyner here to tell you about Artie Clear Kitchens, Baths, Drywall, and Roofing. For kitchens and bathrooms, roofing, windows, and other home improvement needs, call my friend Artie Clear. Get 100% no money down financing with payments as low as $59 per month. The first 59 calls will also receive a $400 discount on their first order. And if you're a senior citizen, double. Look for Artie's ad in the Metro. Call today, Artie Clear Kitchens, Baths, Drywall, and Roofing. For over 20 years now, Strategic Sports Marketing has been a leader in the sports industry. With deep relationship among athletes and companies of all sizes, SSM knows what it takes to build effective partnerships. They've been helping me for 15 years now. From speaking engagements and endorsement deals to special guest appearances and much more, no budget is considered too small. And check out SSM's sister company at sportsvaultshop.com, where you'll find everything for your gift-giving needs. Keep an eye out for upcoming coupon codes exclusive to the Seth Joyner Show. Welcome back. The Eagles have tripped up the last 2 weeks trying to lock up the division and the number 1 seed. Sunday will be their last shot versus this Giants team who've locked up the 5 spot in the playoffs. There's a lot of speculation as to what the G-men may do in this situation. Joining me now is ESPN writer covering the New York Giants, Jordan Raanan. Jordan, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, who would have thought the Eagles are the ones with something to play for in this game and not the Giants? We thought 2 or 3 weeks ago it was going to be the other way around for sure. Hey, are the Eagles going to be resting their guys now? It's, hey, are the Giants going to be resting their guys?
No doubt about it. Hey, listen, what a turnaround for Brian Daboll in this New York Giants team. Any sense of how they'll play this on Sunday? You know, normally after securing a berth in the playoffs, most coaches want to rest their starters. I don't get the sense that Brian Daboll's mindset is along those lines.
This Giants team is not very deep. He knows that. And we saw it happen during that stretch where they lost. You know, they tied a game in the middle, but they were having trouble winning. I think they won one out of 6 games. They were injured, and they don't have the depth to overcome that. So this team in particular, you have a guy like Saquon Barkley. Are you really going to play Saquon Barkley in this game? He has played more snaps than any running back in the NFL. 80.2% of the Giants' offensive snaps this year. Is it really in the Giants' benefit to play Saquon Barkley? And when you heard Brian Daboll talk the other day, he said, we're going to do what's best for our team, right? We're going to do what's best for our team. And so I think that means probably resting guys to some degree.
All right, so the quarterback is such an integral part of any team's success. What in the world has Brian Daboll and this organization, you know, provided for Daniel Jones this year that previous head coaches and organizations haven't?
The Giants and this staff have consistently put Daniel Jones in quality situations, whether it's bootlegs, moving the pocket, you know, getting him outside, allowing him to use his athleticism. To me, that's been the biggest difference and why, quite frankly, Brian Daboll is going to be coach of the year, in my opinion. I think the fact that the Eagles have stumbled here late in the season has kind of really solidified that, right? The Giants made the playoffs, the Eagles stumble, kind of a little knock there on Sirianni, even though it's without his quarterback, and a little boost for Brian Daboll. But the fact that they put him in those good situations, and also he's thrown the ball so much better on the run this year, and I think that's something that they've worked with him a lot on. And you've seen that. And the result is a lot fewer turnovers. And that's always been the problem with Daniel Jones, right? He continuously turns the ball over, and you have not seen that this year. In fact, no quarterback that has played most of his teams or started most of his team's games has turned the ball over less this season than Daniel Jones.
Wow. So no one could imagine a turnaround this fast, let alone a 9-6-1 record and a wild card berth. The Giants got up to a hot start, then they cooled off, then they righted the ship. What type of fights left in this team on Sunday, and what do they bring to the table during the playoffs?
I'll say this, is that they have fought throughout this whole year, right? They haven't really laid that dud except that one game against the Eagles, where I just, quite frankly, think they were just overmatched, right? The Giants were beat up, and on top of the fact that the Eagles, as a roster-wise, significantly better roster. So I do think the Giants will have fight, even if they're playing their backups. Like Tyrod Taylor, even if he's playing at quarterback, is not a real low-end quarterback, right? So they're still, I think, going to give the Eagles some sort of resistance. Now, if the Eagles are whole, which I guess they're not going to be fully whole, but if they're close to whole, meaning Jalen Hurts plays and they're motivated and they're playing well, it's going to be a tough game for the Giants to hang close. But in the playoffs, Giants, Minnesota. We just saw the Giants go into Minnesota, lose on a 61-yard field goal as time expired. Minnesota's going in the wrong direction. What makes us think the Giants can't give Minnesota a fight in the playoffs? So I do think they are somewhat dangerous in the playoffs because right now, that's their first-round opponent.
Jordan, thanks, man. I appreciate your time and your input.
You got it anytime, Seth.
All righty. Brian Feinberg is up next, bringing your daily fantasy and weekly betting picks. Special thanks to our show sponsor, Bridgeview Partners. Bridgeview Partners specialize in IT service management and helping businesses separate from their competition. Go to bridgeviewpartners.com and let them know that Seth Joyner sent you.
This car is a steal. Hey, Seth, let's do a deal and I'll throw in this great gift. Hoi!
Is that the way you used to buy a car? Forget about it. Get to Davis Honda in Burlington.
Davis Honda has over 300 pre-owned vehicles right now. Come see why Davis Honda won Best of Burlington 6 years in a row.
I'm Seth Joyner, and I drive a Davis Honda.
Seth, Caitlin, you forgot your great gift.
For over 20 years now, Strategic Sports Marketing has been a leader in the sports industry. With deep relationship among athletes and companies of all sizes, SSM knows what it takes to build effective partnerships. They've been helping me for 15 years now. From speaking engagements and endorsement deals to special guest appearances and much more, no budget is considered too small. And check out SSM's sister company at sportsvaultshop.com, where you'll find everything for your gift-giving needs. Keep an eye out for upcoming coupon codes exclusive to the Seth Joyner Show.
Mandrakia Law. Attorneys you can trust, we get results. When you need an attorney, you need an experienced trial lawyer who will never settle for less, who's not afraid to try your case, will fight for you and keep you informed. Charles Mandrakia and the team at Mandrakia Law have decades of experience. They are ethical but aggressive. Personal injury, DUI or DWI, commercial or civil litigation, criminal defense, experience matters. Visit the website mmattorneys.com and remember the name, Mandrakia Law. Attorneys you can trust. We get results. Bridgeview Partners Strategic IT Consulting and Services, saving clients money and time by optimizing enterprise systems for over 10 years now. If you're an IT professional, what are you waiting for? Contact a very experienced team at Bridgeview Partners. These guys have an awesome reputation in the Philadelphia market for their thought leadership, specializing in infrastructure optimization and IT service management for healthcare, retail, finance organizations, and many others. Go to bridgeviewpartners.com to learn more, and go Eagles! Birds fans, if you understand that success is built on trusted relationships and reliable performance, Mid-Penn Bank is the right bank for you. We're on a mission to prove that the right bankers can make a big difference and work harder for you. With financial centers strategically located to serve the greater Philadelphia area, we are ready to bring you the best in commercial and personal banking. Visit midpennbank.com or call the number on your screen. Mid-Penn Bank, the right bank for you. Member FDIC. Go Eagles!
Welcome back. Brad Feinberg is here to give us his daily fantasy and betting picks for Week 18. Brad, what's going on, my friend?
Well, first, Seth, Happy New Year to you and all the listeners out there. Hopefully this will be a good Week 18 and a great playoffs for, not only for betting purposes, but for the Eagles as well.
Absolutely. Listen, I can't remember so much excitement and unpredictability of these games over the last few weeks.
Yeah, Seth, listen, it's funny. This is the NFL, and this is a league where, as you know, you can go from the outhouse to the penthouse, or the penthouse to the outhouse so quickly. Things in this league change more quickly than any other sport.
All right, Brad, so as we roll into the last regular season game, what daily fantasy players and defense are you banking on this week?
Seth, you're going to laugh at me on this one, and I'm going to take it because I deserve to be laughed at, but Seth, he's so cheap this week. Russell Wilson, and I know it sounds crazy. I know. This is like the Charlie Brown moving the ball, and he's going to kick the field goal, and there's going to be no ball there. But Russell Wilson is so cheap this week that he's shown at least a little bit of a pulse last week against Kansas City. They're playing a Chargers team, Seth, to me, that doesn't have a ton to play for, doesn't have a great defense on top of it. And if the Chargers score points, I think Denver will need to score points as well, only because he's so cheap. I think he's undervalued. I think he could have at least an average game. Running back, J.K. Dobbins. Seth, this is now, I think, 4 straight games he's gotten up over 100 yards. Look, obviously facing a Cincinnati team, it's a tough situation with that whole obviously tragic thing that happened in the game on Monday night. But Cincinnati is not a great defense, and Dobbins, to me, has been really terrific, and he's not being priced in the top 20 of running backs. Sign me up. Wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Probably the most likely, Seth, winner of Rookie of the Year, placing a very, very average Miami team. Mike White's a quarterback who at least has shown he can get him the ball. He had a little hiccup last week against Seattle, but he's not being priced in the top 25 receivers. I think Garrett Wilson will have a solid game. And defense, Seth, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. I spoke about them before. How much is the Chargers going to play Herbert? How much are they going to play Eckler? Yeah, they don't really need the game that much. Denver's defense, except for that one horrible game, has been pretty good all year. Besides that Rams game, those are my undervalued guys, Seth.
Now, on the other side of the coin, what players in defense are you fading for Week 18?
Well, Seth, look, I hate to say this. Don't get upset. Jalen Hurts. Look, Seth, he's the second highest, most expensive quarterback. I love Jalen Hurts. He's incredible again, but this is an undervalued, overvalued segment. I just don't put him in my top 2 or 3 for this week. Coming off an injury against a serviceable New York football team, in my opinion. So I think it's a lot to ask for him to be a top 3 player this week. Running back overvalued. This one will make you smile at least. Saquon Barkley. He's being priced as the 3rd most expensive running back. Again, how much is he going to play? And if he does play, how effective will he really be? He only had about 5 or 6 fantasy points last week, Seth, against Indianapolis. Do not like Saquon Barkley. Receivers. Tyreek Hill. Seth, I don't care how great you are. If you don't have someone to throw you the ball, it's hard to be productive. Skylar Thompson, I think he was an undrafted quarterback out of Kansas State. I think against a tough New York defense, Tyreek Hill being priced at the 2nd most expensive receiver, I don't like it. And defense, I'm going to say the Chargers. Again, I don't think they have a good defense, number 1. And I think they're being priced as the top 5 defense. I think Denver scores 20 or more against them this week, Seth.
All right, so give me 4 games that you're feeling this week. I mean, for a nice 4-way or 4-game parlay.
All right, Seth, I like the way you think. Look, I'm going to start with the Raiders, Seth. It's interesting. Derek Carr all year had been vastly overrated. He had not played well. And then, look, they get Stidham to come in. And, God, look at the difference in the team. Seth, again, I think they can keep this game against the Chiefs close. They almost beat them in Kansas City. I think this will be a close game. I really do. Give me the Raiders +9. Giants against the Eagles. Giants getting 14. Seth, I don't get this line. I don't. And, look, Seth, you as a former all-pro amazing player, you understand these rivalry games. I'm sure when you played Dallas or New York or Washington, you always gave an amazing effort. I'm sure there's a little bit extra. You just wanted to stick it to that team. I'm sure there's nothing New York would like more than having Philadelphia not get the number 1 seed and them being the reason for it, especially if they got embarrassed in that game in New York. I think 14's way too many, Seth. I think this game's actually going to be somewhat close. Dallas against Washington. Dallas only laying 3.5. Seth, I don't care who's playing quarterback for Washington. They stink. Dallas, while they've shown some warts recently, Seth, they're still a good team. They smell blood. They know if they win this game, they can win this division, potentially get the number 1 seed overall. Give me Dallas laying 3.5. And lastly, Seth, I think I have the better team here in Detroit, getting 4.5 points. I think they're going to beat Green Bay outright in this game. I think Green Bay is getting a little too much love based off their past successes. I think Detroit wins the game outright.
All right, Brad, good to see you again. Thanks for hooking up my peeps on the fantasy and the betting side. I'll see you next week, my friend.
Thanks, Seth. I appreciate you.
All right. Coming up, my final thoughts and predictions for Week 18's matchup versus the New York Giants as the Birds try to, again, clinch. This segment is sponsored by Davis Honda. I drive a Davis Honda, and you should too.
Birds fans, if you understand that success is built on trusted relationships and reliable performance, Mid-Penn Bank is the right bank for you. We're on a mission to prove that the right bankers can make a big difference and work harder for you. With financial centers strategically located to serve the greater Philadelphia area, we are ready to bring you the best in commercial and personal banking. Visit midpennbank.com or call the number on your screen. Mid-Penn Bank, the right bank for you. Member FDIC. Go Eagles! Bridgeview Partners strategic IT consulting and services, saving clients money and time by optimizing enterprise systems for over 10 years now. If you're an IT professional, what are you waiting for? Contact the very experienced team at Bridgeview Partners. These guys have an awesome reputation in the Philadelphia market for their thought leadership, specializing in infrastructure optimization and IT service management for healthcare, retail, finance organizations, and many others. Go to bridgeviewpartners.com to learn more, and go Eagles! Mandrakia Law. Attorneys you can trust, we get results. When you need an attorney, you need an experienced trial lawyer who will never settle for less, who's not afraid to try your case, will fight for you and keep you informed. Charles Mandrakia and the team at Mandrakia Law have decades of experience. They're ethical but aggressive. Personal injury, DUI or DWI, commercial or civil litigation, criminal defense, experience matters. Visit the website mmattorneys.com and remember the name, Mandrakia Law. Attorneys you can trust, we get results.
Former Eagles linebacker Seth Joyner here to tell you about Artie Clear Kitchens, Baths, Drywall, and Roofing. For kitchens and bathrooms, roofing, windows, and other home improvement needs, call my friend Artie Clear. Get 100% no money down financing with payments as low as $59 per month. The first 59 calls will also receive a $400 discount on their first order. And if you're a senior citizen, double. Look for Artie's ad in the Metro. Call today, Artie Clear, kitchens, baths, drywall, and roofing.
This car is a steal. Hey, Seth, let's do a deal and I'll throw in this great gift. Hoi!
Is that the way you used to buy a car? Forget about it. Get to Davis Honda in Burlington.
Davis Honda has over 300 pre-owned vehicles right now. Come see why Davis Honda won Best of Burlington 6 years in a row.
I'm Seth Joyner, and I drive a Davis Honda.
Seth, Caitlin, you forgot your great gift.
Welcome back. It'll be interesting to see how this Eagles team handles the pressure of needing to have this final game of the season. The ramifications are so high for the Birds, and the Giants have nothing to lose, having already locked up the 5 seed. That scares me. But because pressure surely makes diamonds, they also bust pipes. Not only will the players be under tremendous pressure, but so will the coaches to go from 13-1 to finish the season 13-4 and lose the division, lose the number 1 seed, and fall to the 5 seed and have to go on the road in the wild card weekend will not be so good psychologically for this football team. Now is the time for Nick Sirianni and his staff to motivate and elevate this team however necessary. This has to be the week where they right all the wrongs and put together that elusive, complete game. The massive question will be, is Jalen Hurts healed enough to play this week, or is it Gardner Minshew again? I find it hard to fathom that Hurts doesn't return Sunday. He's the difference maker for this football team and this offense. The play calling has to be smart and protective, and Hurts also has to be smart and make good decisions to protect himself at all costs. The intensity should be there. The confidence of having number 1 back on the field has to help. And the total backing of the best fans in any sports should lift this team to a much-needed victory. I like the Birds to dominate early and to pull their starters by the midway point of the third quarter. I like the Eagles to win this game 17-35. That's the show for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week to wrap up the regular season and preview the wild card weekend. Hopefully the Birds are cooling their heels and prepping for the divisional round. Happy 2023 and have a good night.